This conference will now be recorded.
Do you have any opens today? If not, I think there's few things I want to kind of discuss, or like just to kind of give a heads up, not discuss, right? There's going to be a GPU firmware update requirements. You know, like in the hardware fault management tech talks, there was a presentation from Google, Microsoft, and NVIDIA together for a GPU firmware update RAS and management. And the details on the requirements will be presented on the next 2 weeks APEC OCP, not OSF meeting that we are trying to line up. That's why I was trying to ping Neil. Neil is there. We want to close that. That is one. The second thing is we also want to start working on the system runtime firmware update requirements. You know, in the last OCP Global Summit, myself, Vishal, and Tencent side, we presented some of the runtime update, and also we said like we need to form the requirements. We would like to get that requirements started. May not be final. I think we need to start having the discussion on the requirements. And third item you want to start working on is the device firmware update requirements. So basically, like there's a GPU coming, but also we want to make sure that the CXL and other devices firmware update requirements, we want to close on it. Jonathan said he want to volunteer on doing some of the work.
Yeah, sure.
Once that is ready, we want to present it here. And obviously, we need to do some of the OCP Global Summit this year, some of the planning, but we want to really focus on summarize for the Global Summit. Any other items that team thinks that we want to start spending some time to focus on? Or any other comments? Are you guys able to hear me? Maybe I just want to confirm it.
Sammy, just one thing for the OCP summit, right? Because this is a global summit, so there will be experience lab, and
Right.
so yeah, we may want to figure out who would participate in that, because the OCP foundation would ask all the details like how big is the table you want, how much power you need, things like that.
Okay. So what we want to be putting from OSF side on the experience lab, right?
Yeah.
So that is basically comes based on the demo submissions and if anything going to be demoed there, right?
Correct. Yeah. So normally the vendor would need to ship their stuff to San Jose, and then they carry it in. The OCP Foundation will provide a table, will provide the power. That's it. Normally, we would want to figure out who will participate, what kind of machine will be there, and also they might want to prepare things like a pledge or some kind of like marketing material there, so that it's easy for people to know what this station is for.
Okay. So I think what we will do is once I think the OCP abstract submission was closed this Monday, right? So or Tuesday. Once we get that reviewed and finalized, then as part of the process for the demo, we will coordinate, make sure that that gets addressed. Yeah, thank you for bringing it that up.
Yeah.
Or is there any other things that is not part of the OCP demo list that normally comes up that we need to also pay attention?
No, I think that's it. We sometimes we also organize things like a like a meetup because the OCP
Mhm.
summit there are a lot of people, and during the presentation everybody is busy listening to the presentation. So in the past we would ask the OCP Foundation to set up a time and a table so that
Okay,
the project member could sit down, just chat whatever. It could be free form discussion or structured.
that is also a good point. I think one of the things we were kind of discussing, I think last meeting is we want to organize for a panel. Obviously, we may not have enough time to cover in the panel, right? I think it will be good to have informal settings that we could discuss additional things there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
And also, do we want to have any other things that we want to line up for a white paper or anything that we want to um, get the development done, or any work going on that we want to
You are saying that the development before the OCP summit?
cross on that?
Do you
No,
mean the development?
any
Yeah.
release of white paper or any papers that
Um,
that we
there's
want to
one
get it
thing
released before
potentially.
the summit?
Yeah. It's only less than 4 months till the summit, right? So one thing that potentially could get done is the Intel Sapphire Rapids cloud firmware stuff, but that would depend on a number of factors, many about the availability to the public of the FSP binaries and the ME ignition binaries, right? So we have less than 4 months away. I'm not sure if we can get that ready, but but it could be good to shoot for it.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac. Yeah, I remember that like a couple of years ago, Isaac, we had the meetup and had a discussion with whiteboard. That was very useful, wasn't it, Isaac? I think that was like 2019, right? Or
Yep.
2019, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I think that's a longer discussion for why we don't have a roadmap of activities here just yet.
Yeah.
I think yes, I think that's a good thing to really like establish a roadmap. I think we want to put the roadmap in. I think I don't know when some of you joined. Sujay will be presenting in the next 628th meeting on the GPU firmware update. And Jonathan, you also trying to work on the device firmware update, right? I think if you can
Yeah, I
give us
could discuss
timeline.
that. I could
Right.
discuss that. Yeah. I could. I could
And
start to
the other
draft
thing,
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I could start to draft things.
Right. We want to get that discussed here so that we can have that making some progress. The another thing also like the system from runtime firmware update requirements. I think Vishal from Microsoft and I'm going to be presenting that. And in fact, I'm even looking for a anybody else want to contribute? We want to get that defined, at least requirement part, right? Those three, like GPU, device, and system runtime firmware update, those definitely we need to get some momentum going there. Plus any work that is on the core boot side that we want to close, any open items that we want to close, we need to close. The fourth item, my understanding is there is the spec update on the FSP side. If anything pending that we need to get it done, we need to get those things done.
Yeah. On the corporate side, I don't think we need to anything specific to be done right now. I mean, there are a lot of things going on in the open source community. So that just aligns back to the Sapphire Rapids Intel binary readiness.
Okay. So from OSF side, we are not expecting any special work other than the already defined item that need to get delivered.
Correct. From project side, I don't expect anything. Matt, Neil, and Reddy, if you have stuff in your mind, please tell me.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything beyond what we covered on the Sapphire Rapids.
Okay. The another item I want to see or want to have some discussions here. Again, we want to have open discussion. We need to figure out who's going to be presenting it. Some of the RAS and the hardware management side, any additional firmware extensions that need to be done that this team need to pay attention and comprehend, especially on the BMC communication or any external communication side, right? Do we want to define something here, or do we want to review anything defining the hardware management in this team? I'm looking for the team's opinion here.
Are there
If not,
specific
I think
items,
let's.
Sammy, you have in mind, or in the?
Not specifically. I know there is a lot of activities going on the hardware fault management and also the hardware management side. I'm trying to make sure that firmware side of it related to those things comprehended and is part of the OSF. Any contribution from OSF need to be done. That is contributed. I mean, part to attention here, right? If there is no touch points there, we don't have a problem. But there are expectations going to be coming out of system firmware. We want to comprehend that, right?
Yeah, perhaps what may help is actually have those guys come and present in the one of the OSF weekly calls or bi-weekly calls, just to get an idea of what is the current, what exactly are they working on, and what's the dependency on the firmware, what help is needed on the from the OSF project. Yeah, I think a lot of folks in this forum probably are not aware of what's happening there.
Okay, I will talk to both John as well as to the hardware fault management side and understand something that we brought it here, right?
Yeah, during the presentation, we can brainstorm on what are the specific firmware dependencies and how we can collaborate with them.
The another item I would like to get some opinion from here is, given we have a heterogeneous systems like CPU, GPU, FPGA, just SmartNIC and all the things in the system. My understanding is as part of the OSP, we want to comprehend any touch points that we want to bring it here as a OCP system, right? When we are talking about open system, we are more right now talking about the bias person here, right? My thinking here is, do we want to have a more discussion on general open firmware, right? It's a system firmware can have multiple different touch points there, right?
Yeah.
And I think especially like, like we can say it's option ROM PCIe handles it. Do we want to go open further than what is in the system firmware, right? I mean, meaning UFI or a BIOS side, right?
Yeah.
So at least I think it'll be good to have a discussion here, kind of get some general opinion out of this team, what we want to see to happen, right? So again, I will line up some topic on that side for a discussion so that we can give us some collective opinion here. Again, I'm kind of collecting any other topics that the team thinks that we want to be discussing. If not, then let's wait for some of the presentations. I think on the next week after we have a discussion with the 628 APAC meeting, if any other opens people are not able to attend, if you want to bring any touch points, we can bring it in the week after next meeting here. If no other opens, then we can close early.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
Tim.
Bye.
We'll talk to you next week.